Have you ever felt like you're running on a treadmill, working harder and harder but never getting ahead? You pay your taxes, you save what you can, but financial security always seems just out of reach. What if I told you that this isn't an accident? What if the very system designed to manage our economy has a built-in feature that quietly makes it harder for you to build wealth? This isn't some wild theory. It's a fundamental aspect of our modern economy that most people never fully understand. And today we're going to pull back the curtain on the government's biggest open secret that can keep you in a state of financial struggle. Stay with me, because understanding this is the first step to finally getting off that treadmill. The secret I'm talking about is inflation. Now you've heard the word a million times. Prices go up, your money buys less. But do you know why it happens and who benefits? Most people think inflation is just a natural part of the economy, like rain in the spring. But that's not the whole story. A certain level of inflation is often a deliberate policy target for governments and central banks around the world. They'll tell you that a little bit of inflation, say around 2%, is good for the economy. It encourages spending and investment, preventing a deflationary spiral where people hoard cash because they expect prices to fall. On the surface, that sounds reasonable. But let's dig deeper. Where does this inflation come from? A primary driver is the expansion of the money supply. When the government needs to spend more than it collects in taxes for things like infrastructure projects, social programs, or bailouts, it has a few options. It can raise taxes, but that's politically unpopular. It can borrow money by selling bonds, which it does. Or, and this is the crucial part, the central bank can essentially create new money out of thin air to buy government debt. This process, often called quantitative easing, injects massive amounts of new currency into the financial system. Think of it like this. Imagine there are only 100 apples in the world and $100. Each apple costs $1. Now what if the government suddenly prints another $100 so there are now $200, but still only 100 apples? The price of each apple is going to go up, right? Maybe to $2. The number of apples didn't change, but the value of each dollar was cut in half. This is inflation in its simplest form. It's a hidden tax. The government gets to spend all this new money first at its current value, but by the time that money trickles down to you and me, the prices of everything we need to buy, gas, groceries, rent, have already started to rise. Your paycheck might stay the same, but it buys you less. Your savings account, earning a measly 0.5% interest, is actually losing purchasing power every single day when inflation is at 3, 4, or even 8%. So, who does this system benefit? First, the government itself. Inflation is a stealthy way to pay off national debt. If the government owes $1 trillion, and over the next 20 years inflation cuts the value of that dollar in half, they are effectively paying back their debt with money that's worth far less than when they borrowed it. It's a debtor's paradise. The second group that benefits are the owners of hard assets. These are the wealthy, the corporations, and the well-connected. When the central bank creates new money, it doesn't just hand it out to everyone. It flows into the financial markets first. This pumps up the prices of stocks, real estate, and other assets. So, while your savings in the bank are evaporating, people who own these assets are seeing their net worth skyrocket. This is a primary driver of the ever-widening wealth gap. The rich get richer not just because they're smart, but because the system is designed to inflate the value of the things they own. Meanwhile, the average person, whose primary asset is their labor and their savings, gets left behind. Their wages rarely keep up with the real cost of living, and their savings are devalued. This creates a vicious cycle. As the cost of living rises, people need to borrow more just to get by. They take on more credit card debt, more car loans, and bigger mortgages. And who lends them this money? The very financial institutions that benefited from the initial money creation. This makes the population more dependent on debt, trapping them in a cycle of working to pay off interest to the very system that is devaluing their labor. It's a subtle but powerful mechanism that transfers wealth from the working and middle classes to the asset-owning class and the government. So, how do you break free? How do you protect yourself from this hidden tax? The first and most important step is to stop thinking like a saver and start thinking like an investor. Holding large amounts of cash is a guaranteed way to lose purchasing power over time. You are on the wrong side of the inflation equation. You need to put your money to work in places that can outpace inflation. This doesn't mean you need to be a Wall Street wizard or take reckless risks. It means educating yourself about sound financial principles. You need to own assets. This could mean investing in a diversified portfolio of stocks through low-cost index funds. Historically, the stock market has provided returns that have beaten inflation over the long term. It could mean investing in real estate. When you own property with a fixed-rate mortgage, you are using the bank's money to buy a hard asset. As inflation rises, the value of your property tends to increase, and your mortgage payments become effectively cheaper over time because you're paying them back with less valuable dollars. You are now using debt to your advantage, just like the government does. Another strategy is to invest in assets that are scarce and hold their value, sometimes referred to as hard money. For centuries, things like gold and silver have been used as a hedge against currency devaluation. In the modern era, some people are turning to digital assets like Bitcoin for the same reason, viewing it as a decentralized store of value outside the control of any government or central bank. The key isn't to pick one magic bullet, but to understand the principle: you must own things that the government cannot easily print more of. Beyond investing, it's crucial to focus on increasing your earning power. Develop valuable skills that are in high demand. This allows your income to grow faster, hopefully outpacing the rate of inflation. Don't rely on a single paycheck. Explore creating multiple streams of income, whether it's a side business, freelance work, or a rental property. The more independent your income is from a single employer, the more resilient you will be. Understanding this system isn't about being cynical or angry. It's about being realistic and empowered. The rules of the financial game are not set up for the average person to win by simply working hard and saving cash. But once you understand these rules, you can start playing the game differently. You can stop being a victim of inflation and start positioning yourself to benefit from it. It requires a shift in mindset, from being a consumer and a debtor to being an owner and an investor. The government isn't going to announce this on the evening news. They're not going to tell you that their policies are a direct transfer of wealth away from your savings account. But the information is out there for those who are willing to look. Educate yourself. Read books on economics and investing. Follow people who explain these concepts clearly. Start small, but start now. Your financial future depends not on working harder within the system, but on understanding the system and making it work for you. That is the real secret to building lasting wealth. Thank you so much for watching today. If this opened your eyes, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content that helps you navigate the financial world. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What's one step you're going to take this week to protect your wealth? I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next video.